light. Let's sync that audio. Looks like we're recording. Let's do it. Gotta get into character. Gotta bump up those energy levels Monday after a long day at work. Oh, it feels like it's been a lifetime. It feels like it's been a while. I don't know. I need to get regular again. Trying to figure things out with the puppy and, you know, Carly's starting school again and all this. You know, life's pretty crazy and we're trying to kind of get things figured out. Trying to lock it in. Get it going. Come on. That we just sort of go for it. Anyway, I'm rambling. Yo guys, what is going on? Jake Felzien here, and today we are talking about the AK4500 by FeiyuTech, their brand new big camera, big DSLR gimbal. Let's roll that intro. Let's get on into it.
I've been a real bad boy on the town all night. Starting to calm down with the morning light. I'm in
Oh man, I gotta change that intro, guys. I gotta get on this, man. The past couple weeks I've been in a bit of a lull, talking to all these companies, kind of trying to get like my creative juices flowing again. I mean, it's just been weird with the puppy and school and work and all this stuff. You know, it gets tough. Life gets in the way, and tonight I was just like, we gotta just make this video, and we gotta make some more videos. But anyway, today, guys, we are talking about the FeiyuTech AK4500. We're going to do just like a quick, fast review, but this is going to be a more technical review. If you guys have not watched my video that I did for this gimbal with Jordan and Josh, we went out for a sunrise mission and shot with this thing. Links, all of the links right here. Go check out that video, guys, and definitely go watch it. We had an absolute blast making that video. It was so much fun, and just, man, it was awesome. Sunrise mission, sand dunes, just couldn't have been a better like first half of the day. Good start to the weekend, that's for sure. Anyway, today we are going to do more of a technical deep dive into this gimbal. I'm going to use this as a point of reference, but I really want to show footage of the things that I really like about this gimbal, because there are some things that this gimbal does that I have not seen from other gimbals. So we're just gonna talk through that stuff today. I'm super pumped. Let's get on into it. So first big question, how does this gimbal do with different types of cameras? How much weight can it hold? Well, guys, it is advertised to hold 10 pounds, which is super impressive. On Saturday, when we shot this video, we had a GH5 on there with some heavier lenses like the 12-35 and the 8-18. We were able to get the Blackmagic, which is what I'm shooting on right now, my new baby workhorse. I love this thing. We were able to get that on there. There was no battery, but it was the Blackmagic, the small rig cage, the SSD, and then the V-mount plate, but no V-mount battery. I think the plate introduced maybe a little bit of wobble, but it was able to hold it, it steadied it, and I thought it turned out really good. It just felt like it was a very professional looking image. And then, I mean, the big hitter, the heavy hitter, the big Russian, we came in with Jordan's 1DX Mark II, and we actually stuck it on this gimbal, and it was able to stabilize it. And I think he was using a Sigma 3mm lens, which is a pretty thick piece of glass. The Blackmagic, and with the 1DX, with all the extra stuff on the Blackmagic and the heavier lens on the 1DX, you're not going to be able to do the vortex mode or kind of any crazy flips or turns, but you are going to be able to use this gimbal to stabilize those cameras. And I didn't need any extra weights, any extra attachments. The cradle was big. I was able to fit everything into this gimbal, which is awesome. And of course, that's the first big question, right? Does this stabilize your camera? Everything else we're going to dive in today is just nice to haves, because really a gimbal, it just needs to stabilize your camera. That's all we care about. Does it stabilize your camera? And yes, guys, I love this gimbal. It's big, it's beefy, it's got some big, strong motors, and it's able to carry my Blackmagic, which really, you guys know if you've seen in the past, I have a little Zhuin Weebill Lab, which I love from my Micro Four Thirds cameras. The Blackmagic just by itself, no accessories, can go on that gimbal if you counterbalance it and add a little bit of weight on the side. It does fit in there, it is strong enough, but as far as like making this camera usable, you guys have seen all my riggings. It really helps to have stuff hooked to this camera, and this gimbal can carry that now. I've been looking for that for a while, and it's just awesome that this gimbal can do it. But let's just kind of walk down into the nitty-gritty, and let's talk about some other things that I really like about this gimbal. First things first, the screen on the handle itself. It's a touch screen. You can scroll to the side with that screen. You can select stuff, change stuff, modify stuff. Anything that you would be able to do in the app, you can actually do straight on the gimbal, and that is so nice, right? I mean, it's nice to have apps. It's nice to be able to hook up apps to gimbals, to control them remotely, maybe get a monitor feed. But it's so nice that if you want to keep things light, compact, travel light, you know, not worry about having to hook up a phone and carry batteries for your phone or whatever the case may be, it's so nice to have that screen on the gimbal itself to be able to do all of those adjustments. Second big win for the gimbal, all axes, I think is what I need. All of the axes lock, so therefore you can put it on the side of a bag in a tripod case or something along those lines, where in theory older gimbal models that don't have this, a lot of them are getting it now, this one included, the arm doesn't flop around and you're able to keep all of your balance from the last time you hooked in your camera, and then you just unlock those axes and you're good to go. Love that feature. Second feature that I really like that I just haven't seen in other gimbals is the release plate system. It's a little bit different, and I really do like the implementation on this one. It has your traditional big Manfrotto slider slot, but then on top of that, it actually has another quick release plate, which is really, really nice and allows you to have a very small, tiny little release latch on the bottom of your camera. And then when you're ready to hook it in, you just do that. It's a very cool fluid thing where once it's in place, the lock arm actually flips into place, locks it off, and it's good to go. And it's really just really easy. It's super intuitive. I really like the lock in place release system on this gimbal. Guys, the other thing that I really love about this gimbal is the underslung arm is detachable, unlike something like the Crane 3 or a lot of the new Zhiyun gimbals that we're seeing these days. They're having this new arm extension, which I really like. I really like using that underslung mode with the Webuild Lab. I think it's a great implementation, and I think it's really cool and very practical for a lot of situations, but sometimes you just don't want that, right? This gimbal, it screws on and screws off. Unfortunately, of course, you could lose the screws, which maybe is a downside, but I consider it a win because then you can just have that nice, you know, single-handed shape, or you can get that side handle on the sides, and then you can do underslung mode or just have another point of contact to hold the gimbal itself. The other kind of cool thing that this gimbal does, and I can't tell totally how I feel about it, is the arm that does come off actually has a third like kind of handle piece that comes off the end that can actually attach via Bluetooth as a remote for the gimbal. So it's just a cool little attachment at the end. You can unscrew it, turn it on, link it through Bluetooth, and then you have a lot of your handle controls remotely in this sort of little remote. And on top of that, not only can you use the joystick to point the camera and the wheel to control the focus, but you can also press and hold the trigger and then point with motion control where you want the gimbal to go. Is it flawless? No, it's maybe kind of a little gimmicky, and sometimes it felt like as I'm pointing it that it wasn't totally spot on, but it was way better than I expected. When I kind of heard about this gimbal and saw that, I was like, oh, there's no way that that's even remotely usable. And I think you could use it, and especially someone like me who films themselves pretty much 100% of the time, unless me and the guys go out, you know, having an option to maybe have kind of like a little remote that I could flick and control out of the scene or away from the gimbal, I might actually be able to integrate some movement into using this gimbal when I'm just filming myself, which is kind of cool. Might work out really nicely. Another small feature that's really kind of not a big deal, but I don't know, I really liked the implementation. I didn't have this on any other gimbal that I've used before. The focus wheel can actually press in as a button, and it changes what the focus wheel can do. So traditionally, of course, it's going to control the servo motors that comes with the gimbal. You can strap those to your lenses and actually control the focus with the focus wheel on the handle. Well, once you press that button in, you can actually like roll your axis, turn the, you know, X axis or Y axis or whatever, or you can adjust the up and down, pan and tilt, And that's just like really cool. I really like that implementation. I actually really like that. It's just a small thing, but something that I do really like about this gimbal. Jake. So all you're doing is giving praise. What do you think? Is there something that you don't like about this gimbal? Guys, for the most part, I really like this gimbal. I totally would recommend it. If you're looking for a gimbal that can carry 10 pounds or something a little heavier, this is your guy. It's awesome. It works really great. It stabilizes really well. I really don't have too many complaints. The software maybe could use a little bit of improvement. Sometimes the motors kind of felt like they were fighting a bit or kind of wobbling just a tad. Again, we were really pushing this thing, so take that with a grain of salt. Using something like, you know, a Panasonic Micro Four Thirds camera, you're gonna have no problem at all with this gimbal and stabilizing and holding stuff. I think that could maybe be a little bit improved, but that's being really nitpicky because again, I really don't have any issues with that. Only other thing I would really like to see in this gimbal, and again, it's totally a software update, FeiyuTech, if you can do it, just put it in the app, put it in a firmware update. I don't care, it would be so awesome. There is a feature with this gimbal to do 2 points and do a motion time lapse, right? Where you would pick point A and point B and then it would take pictures, but it kind of requires your camera to be connected. It's kind of janky. It doesn't work super great. And after seeing the feature in the Ronin S where you can actually do like 10 programmable track points, where you can say how fast it moves between each point and then how long it stays at each point, I would love to see that feature in this gimbal because again, as a solo filmmaker, as a YouTuber where I'm, you know, filming myself a lot of the time, I've always seen that feature in the Ronin S and now the Ronin SC and thought, man, every company can add that. It's such a small thing that's going to just win over YouTubers like crazy because they'll be able to add movement to their videos. And of course, I would just love that. I think it would be so cool. So if there was one recommendation, it would be for FeiyuTech to include that. But that's kind of picky. That's kind of niche. You know, that's kind of an edge case. As far as all of your main use cases go, this gimbal totally fits the bill for me, and I can't wait to keep using it. I think it's awesome. Okay, guys, I've been rambling for way too long. Let's cut it off right there. I hope you guys feel like you know this gimbal a little bit better. I hope you know just how good it is. I've tried to kind of go through some stuff that's a little bit more technical. Again, if you're wanting to see some awesome footage with this gimbal, me, Jordan, and Josh went and shot with this pretty much for the entire first part of like a couple Saturdays ago. Again, I'll put that video down in the description and the card maybe up here again. I don't know. Go check it out. I had a ton of fun making it, and you'll just get a lot of really good sample footage with this gimbal because that's what we went out to test. Anyway, super pumped on that. Go check it out. But that's all I have for you guys today. Definitely would recommend this gimbal. Go check it out on FeiyuTech's website. I will link it down below. You guys have a good rest of your day, morning, evening, night, wherever you are at. And as always, do not forget that creativity comes from constraint. This is Jake signing off, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.